To acquire knowledge, one must study, but to acquire wisdom, one must observe. What a great teaching from Marilyn Savant. My friends, let's jump into these charts. This is a golden Monday where everything is up. S&P 500 up 1.52%, NASDAQ up 1.85%. But my friends, as we look at both these charts, there's a telltale sign here. We see 3 candles connected, and we've broken it as we've started the new week. We see what happened on Friday, actually starting Thursday, and then really hammering down Friday. And then we had an up movement today, didn't push through the weekly trend line. And our 2-day chart that finished drawing today is sitting right there. Well, it's actually a little below it where the candle closed. Lots of volume with all this spinning top and question marks. And of course, as we start the week off, we're starting off with a doji. Now, what does that lead us to? Well, as far as our trade execution summary grid goes, we've reverted over to bearishness. Not a great deal of bearishness, a little more than a coin toss, right at a coin toss on the NASDAQ, a little more than a coin toss on the S&P, but it is showing us a lot of question marks about will this market survive? Just look here at what we've had for the last many weeks since we had the interim low back in early April, April 7, the week beginning then a spinning top and a doji. Then things took off the week beginning the 28th of April. And we have not had a single, until last week where we had the green spinning top. There we go. There's a little bitty down wick here. If I move to the side, you can see it on the week beginning the 23rd of June. But again, nothing to speak of. And we had last week that green spinning top showing us some indecision with all that volume. And in fact, the volume training, if you've not taken our volume training, my book, 3-Wave Trading Advantage, I have at least, I think it's 3 chapters on volume. But again, very important to understand what volume tells you, particularly when you take the volume and you put it with a candlestick. It gives you exactly what's going on in the market and what is being thought about by the participants in the market. And I'm going to put at the end of, and make a note right here, I'm going to put the volume training at the end of today's video. Please take that if you haven't before. And of course, if you have the book, that is, you're a Patreon member, any of the 3 levels of Patreon support, you get my book for free the minute that you sign up. If you only sign up for a month, you get the book for free, plus the 3-part series, Options Made Simple, The Charting Wealth Way. But we talk about what this volume means and how critical it is to your understanding. So we shall see if the rest of this week just goes gangbusters and it makes up for this huge fall within a day or two, pushes back through the weekly trend line. This turns into a big green up candle. Then the market just keeps going. But it may not be doing that. That's what we're looking at, is the possibility that it doesn't. And we start putting in big red down candles so we can do what? We can ride SH, because SH is the single inverse of the S&P. And when it starts booming, you can actually ride the inverse fund up while the underlying equity, that would be the ETF of the S&P 500, SPY, is going down. And of course, if those of you who were tuned in on Friday, you do remember me putting up for you, you can go back and find it, our training on inverse funds, how to make money when markets crash. It's just fun to play around with. Inverse funds are not for everybody, and of course, that's what that training's all about. The fees are more expensive. It revalues every day. It can magnify your losses, but it can be a great way to jump into the market when everyone's fleeing and panic is ensuing. So we see things are rebounding. Though I say all this on a day where things are up 1.52%. So again, just keep your eye on things. Keep an open mind. Don't believe what the people on TV are telling you necessarily. Remember, They're there to sell you commercials. They want to keep you tuned in and sweating. I don't even watch the financial news. Why? Because it doesn't do a damn thing for me. And those of you who get involved in the markets long enough, I think you'll get just like I am, just sort of, don't pay attention to it. It's entertainment. It's there to keep you tuned in so you'll watch the commercials. That's what it's all about. So that's where we are on the S&P NASDAQ. Pretty much, when you look at where things are, very similar. Very similar with all the candles, with the volume here. Of course, average morning and afternoon didn't push through. Sitting right there on it. Look at all that volume. And of course, starting off for the week, the volume doesn't look that great. But again, we got 4 more days to go. That's where we are on the S&P and the NASDAQ. Keep an eye on them to potentially go short. You might say, Tom, what's a single short for the NASDAQ? Well, that'd be PSQ, Papa Sierra, Quebec. And again, keep that in mind. It might offer some possibilities as we move along. Let's take a look at bonds. Bonds up just a little bit, and we can redraw our trend line if we desire to do so. Gives a little bit more of an angle there. I like more of an up angle. Again, as we look at things, we can see we're up in the morning, maybe not quite as much in the afternoon, 0.27%. It's not a lot. Again, sort of where it topped out last week. Let's see. High last week was 87.93. This week, 88.15, so it has gone higher. And again, I again have been calling this when we look at where we are. Yes, we have now gone to positive. It's taken a while. I told you when I saw the interim low with that average volume, the green spinning top, even though we didn't quite have the volume, that is a telltale turnaround sign for me. Always is. Always. And when I see an interim peak with average volume and then a spinning top, now the thing that scares me about these that I don't jump in is when it's so ranging, it's hard to hit that low again. You would have eventually done it, but this week would have scared the hell out of you. Again, I like it when it's clean and beautiful. And of course, that was almost, didn't quite have the average volume, but was something going on there? Did we have Juneteenth? No, that would have been June. I don't know. I was thinking there was a holiday, but I guess there's not. Maybe a shortened week. But I thought something happened. But anyway, things moving as predictable, even though the numbers haven't caught up to us until this week as things continue to move up in bonds. You can see average volume in the morning, not so much in the afternoon, above average volume on the 2-day. And again, nice volume last week, the week before with the turnaround. Again, like I said, not as good as I would have wanted. So we are long 20-year U.S. government bonds, a little more than a coin toss, not up to that 80% range yet. In fact, we don't have anything on our charts at 80. Let's look at where we are with gold. Now, as we saw the weekend last week, we were still down gold. Now things are turning around and gold is starting to heat itself up again. And again, after a down week last week and just now rotating around, and it's pretty much, if we even tried to connect this trend line, what does that do for us? Not much at all. Pretty flat, hard to call anything, but up 0.58%. You can see our average volume on the 2-day. Over the last 2 days, as gold's been moving up, volume has just been slacking off big time. That doesn't make me excited about a boom in gold, although I'll tell you, our backtest accuracy is pretty good on gold. And as we look at the key patterns, a bullish engulfing on the 2-day, strong green candles, time frames align with bullishness. But I just got some problems with that after 3 2-day candles hammering down, a down week last week, or at least a red candle, and all this down movement on the half day. We do have 2 days up movement, but again, going to have to see more from me. Now, let's go to 20-year U.S. government bond. 20 years government bonds. Already talked about that. HODL, which is the Bitcoin ETF. What do we see there? Well, we had a red spinning top last week. We have, and again, if you check it out, okay, we had an interim high back on the 14th. Didn't reach it the week beginning the 21st, and these are both July dates. And then last week, beginning the 28th, we had the telltale either doji or, and I prefer a spinning top in the opposite direction. And now things starting off, although on the Heiken Ashi candlesticks, you see a red candle in the morning, up movement in the afternoon. It was up 1.44%. As you, I don't know why that keeps popping up on me. I don't know what I'm doing there. Maybe I'm just too far toward the top. Anyway, that's almost flat. That's not doing a whole lot for us, but it is showing us the possibility of some down move, although our numbers that we're running are showing us that we're a little more than a coin toss in a directional probability upward. And again, we did go up for the day 1.44%. But man, that is hard to see in the Heiken Ashi candle. So we'll keep our powder dry and wait for things to, again, either tell us with the candles themselves and the volume directly, or with the numbers giving us higher probabilities of movement in one direction or the other. That is where we are, folks. We always love to hear from you. Don't hesitate to reach out to us, cw@chartingwealth.com. Patreon members, thank you always for all your support in underwriting the channel. If you appreciate what we do here, then help us out. This is not free to put on every day. And all the stuff that we do for you, we hope you appreciate, and your support is always appreciated. God bless. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth.